To extend on the...
Yes. So now it's duplicate. So we can extend.
Yeah, I think when you click expand, it should come one. Yeah, very good. Yes, we have it. So we are reading today from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 20, verse 125. We just do the word by word first, so that when we recite the verse, we have a little idea of what we are chanting. So please repeat after me. Abhideya. Abhideya. Activities to revive one's relationship.
Activities to revive one's relationship.
Nama.
Nama.
Name.
Name.
Bhakti.
Bhakti.
Devotional service.
Devotional service.
Prema.
Prema.
Love of Godhead.
Love of Godhead.
Prayojana.
Prayojana.
Ultimate goal of life.
The ultimate goal of life.
Purushartha Shiromani.
Purushartha Shiromani.
The topmost interest of the living entity.
The topmost interest of the living entity.
Prema.
Prema.
Love of Godhead.
Love of Godhead.
Mahadana.
Mahadana.
The greatest wealth.
The greatest wealth.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
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 Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Thank you. One Mataji.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadana.
Purushartha Shiromani Prema
purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Devotional service or sense activity for the satisfaction of the Lord is called Abhideya, because it can develop one's original love of Godhead, which is the goal of life. This goal is the living entity's topmost interest and greatest wealth. Thus, one attains the platform of transcendental loving service unto the Lord. Shishi Vijay Gauradesh. We wish them a wonderful breakfast. So I think I read it one more time because it's very deep and very beautiful. Devotional service or sense activity for the satisfaction of the Lord is called Abhideya, because it can develop one's original love of Godhead, which is the goal of life. This goal is the living entity's topmost interest and greatest wealth. Thus, one attains the platform of transcendental loving service unto the Lord. Purport. The conditioned soul is bewildered by the external material energy, which fully engages him in sense gratification in various ways. Due to engagement in material activities, one's original Krishna consciousness is covered. However, as the Supreme Father of all living entities, Krishna wants his sons to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, he personally comes to deliver Vedic literatures like the Bhagavad Gita. He engages his confidential servants who serve as spiritual masters and enlighten the conditioned living entities. Being present in everyone's heart, the Lord gives the living entities the conscience whereby they can accept the Vedas and the spiritual master. In this way, the living entity can understand his constitutional position and his relationship with the Supreme Lord. As personally enunciated by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Vedaschai Sarvai Aham Eva Vedya, through the study of Vedanta, one may become fully aware of his relationship with the Supreme Lord and act accordingly. So it's interesting, and through the study of the Vedas, one actually becomes fully aware of his relationship with the Supreme Lord and act accordingly. This is the Sambandha that we were hearing yesterday. Huh? We are aware of our identity, aware of the Supreme Lord and how to serve him. So this comes through actually the Vedic study, through the scriptures. So again, through the study of Vedanta, one will become fully aware of his relationship with the Supreme Lord and act accordingly. In this way, one may ultimately attain the platform of loving service to the Lord. It is the living entity's best interest to understand the Supreme Lord. Unfortunately, the living entities have forgotten that this is their best interest, and therefore Srimad Bhagavatam says, Nate vidum sarvatagatim hi Vishnu. Bhagavatam 7:531. Everyone wants to achieve life's ultimate goal. It's also beautiful. Everyone actually wants to achieve life's ultimate goal. But due to being absorbed in material energy, we waste our time with sense gratification. Through the study of Vedic literature, Prabhupada brings it back again, of which the essence is Bhagavad Gita, one comes to Krishna consciousness. Thus one engages in devotional service called Abhideya. When the living entity actually develops love of Godhead, he has reached the ultimate goal, Prayojana. In other words, one who becomes fully Krishna conscious has attained the perfection of life. One time the verse. Devotional service or sense activity for the satisfaction of the Lord is called Abhideya, because it can develop one's original love of Godhead, which is the goal of life. This goal is the living entity's topmost interest and greatest wealth. Thus, one attains the platform of transcendental loving service to the Lord. If you want, you can pray also with me. I'm praying so that I can deliver a good and inspiring lecture, and you might pray to be able to hear and also have some revelation in your heart. Om Gyanam Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master, who is the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes. Therefore, I offer him my respectful obeisances. So this is a very, very beautiful verse, and I like it very much. This, what Prabhupada translated, this goal of life is the topmost interest and greatest wealth of the living entity. So we are actually very wealthy. We have a lot of wealth in this form of actually the goal of life that we have. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada speaks how Krishna is merciful, that he sent in this world the scriptures and he sent in this world the devotees. Prabhupada said the Lord is like a father, and he really wants all of us, without exception, to come back home. And therefore he is trying in many ways to help us to move forward in our spiritual journey. And we were speaking actually about Abhideya, Prayojana, Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana a few times during this lecture. Yesterday we had a lecture connected on Sambandha, on understanding the basic ground of who is God, who are we, and what is our relationship with Him. And then we know that usually in the order comes Abhideya, which is the practice of chanting the holy name, studying the scripture, serving the Lord, and like this. And then comes Prayojana, which is the ultimate goal. Now I was hearing recently a lecture from Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, who have a conceptual study of Srimad Bhagavatam seminar. And there he was saying, actually Prayojana comes before Abhideya. He said, Sambandha, Prayojana, Abhideya. He was saying because we actually need to know when we know what is the goal, then actually our practice is getting enlivened. Then our Abhideya gets proper. If we do Abhideya, but we do not have the awareness of the goal, it's not going to function so well. And this is also explained, also Bhaktivedanta Maharaj explained that the meaning of sadhana, according to Nectar of Devotion, is to have a sadhana that is real. A real sadhana means you need two items into a sadhana. And one is that you make your own effort, and the second one is that you are aware of the sadhya. You are aware of the goal. So when you have those two, when you are aware of the goal you want to reach, and at the same time you make effort in direction of this goal, then you can say I'm doing sadhana. But if we forget what is the goal, and we just do it like this, technically it's actually not called sadhana. So today we will see three points. We will see how we can become more aware of our goal as we go through our spiritual journey. And we will explore what is actually my goal, what is my spiritual goal, and we will end to see how we can set spiritual goals, how we can set and follow up on them. So the first one is about the importance of being aware of our goal. There was once a man, a very old man, who decided to go on a pilgrimage in Badrinath. Badrinath is high in the mountains and you have to walk quite a bit. And this man was very old, and as he was walking and crossing the villages, people were asking, "Hey, old man, where are you going?" And he said, "I'm going to Badrinath." They said, "Oh, it's very far, and you are so old. How will you reach there?" And the old man said, "My mind is already there. My mind will just follow. My body will just follow." And I was just thinking, just now as we were leading the kirtan, we were thinking, I was remembering of Prabhupada sitting on the bench, I'm not sure if it was in New York, but speaking with a man and telling him, "We have already many temples. We have already many devotees. Our movement is," and nothing was there. But Prabhupada, his mind was there already. He was already fixed in his goal. So this is actually a very beautiful example of how important it is also for us to be aware of our spiritual goal. Rupa Goswami in Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu said also that as you practice, you have to become aware of the perfection of your practice, the perfection that you want to reach. My spiritual master also was saying, that was in 2004, long ago, in one of his lectures, he was saying, we should never forget sadhya. What is sadhya?
Goal.
Yeah, should never forget sadhya. While performing our sadhana, with such kind of strong sadhana, our qualities and abilities in Krishna's service will raise from our heart and we will become very enthusiastic to serve. So when we are aware of the goal of Krishna consciousness, it will be a raise in our heart of enthusiasm in service of the Lord. If we are sometimes feeling we are lacking enthusiasm, we might have forgotten what is actually the goal of our practice. And just a few days ago, Maharaj was giving a lecture, a seminar in America, and he was saying, if you don't understand the goal, you don't understand the way. If you don't understand the goal, you will not understand the sadhana. So this is like the importance of having the goal shows us in all what we are, most of us, we are doing very hard endeavors. We wake up early, we chant our rounds, we read, we do service, we do so much activities in Krishna consciousness. But here we get like a very special note on it, that if we do it plus the vision of our goal, then it will be like a surge of enthusiasm, a surge of energy, a surge of happiness pervading our body, and we will be able to do Krishna consciousness with a lot of life and a lot of enthusiasm. Now there are many analogies that are given in the scriptures to help us to understand the importance of the goal, and analogies help us to focus more on the philosophical point. And one of them is the boat, a boat. And it is said that for a boat without a rudder is the things that you have behind, that you guide. For a boat without a rudder, there is no favorable wind. So the wind might blow in all directions. It cannot be favorable because you cannot guide the boat. So in the same way, without having the goal in our life, then there is not really favorable wind. We are moved in all directions. My spiritual master many years ago had some back issues, back problem, and his doctor said you should go on a boat and you should do rowing exercise that will strengthen your muscle and your back will be all right. So my spiritual master went with one of his disciples on a boat, on a small boat on a lake, and Maharaj was rowing and training the back muscle. And then he noticed that his assistant who was sitting in front of me looked very pale, a little greenish pale. So my spiritual master asked, "Hey, Madhvamuni, what's happening with you?" And the disciple said, "Maharaj, we are just turning in cycles. We are, because it's often the case, you have one arm that is stronger than the other, and you make cycles." So then Maharaj understood, he said, "Oh, sorry." But okay, let's look, okay, there is an island there, okay, that's the goal. And then we started to row and guide in direction of the goal. Now Maharaj was speaking of that in a lecture, and then I can say only by repeating him, he was looking at his audience and he was saying, "I can see that some of you have a little greenish face. Some of you might be a little bit turning in cycles in your spiritual life because of the lack of having a goal." His Grace Aintra Prabhu will give another very powerful analogy, and that's the analogy of the tightrope walker. The one who walks on a tightrope, if he looks at his feet, he has all chance to fall down. So he just has to look at the place he wants to reach. And then he keeps the equilibrium, but he just keeps his gaze fixed on the goal. So this is also how we should do our spiritual life, very fixed in what is our goal. And the last analogy, this is an analogy given in the Bhagavatam, and the verse, this is 7:15:42, say that the Vedic mantra is the bow. So the mantra that we chant is like a bow. The pure living entity himself is the arrow, and the target is the Supreme Lord. So the Lord is the target, we are the arrow, and the mantra is the bow. And the mantra is going to shoot us directly towards the goal of the Lord. There is a small paragraph I want to read in that particular purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, "The living entity tries to be happy within this material world, not understanding the target of his life. When he is purified, however, he gives up his bodily conception of life and his false identity. Then he takes the arrow of his purified life, and with the help of the bow, the transcendental chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, he throws himself toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Now, if we look a little closer in this analogy of the bow, anyone of you were anytime doing some? Yes? So there are actually 3 steps when you want to be, how you call people who do that? Archers? Archers, yeah. So the first one is actually you take aim. You take aim and you pull, and then actually you have to make sure where is the goal. Huh? Then you actually first you take aim, then you make the effort, yes. And then what is the third step?
Release.
Yeah, you let go. So in the same way, actually, this is a very nice way. First we have to take aim. What is our goal in spiritual life? Then we make effort toward the Abhideya, and then we have to let go. We have to let it in the hands of the Lord. We have to be detached. If it will work the way we hope or not, or how the things will go, we have to let go. We have to be detached. In the book called...
Can you please repeat the verse number? 7:14:42?
7:15:42.
Okay, thank you so much.
There is one, maybe some of you know Gauahari Prabhu, who is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He wrote a very, very beautiful book. It's actually full commentary on Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, where he takes from all different acharyas, commentaries. It's called The Whale Begins to Part. That's Canto 4 to Canto 6 or so. There he makes a comment. He said that generally the consciousness of those who are successful in any field tend to be one-pointed. We need focus. A many-branched intelligence does not allow people to attain their goal. So in this point of taking aim means our consciousness needs to become focused. As long as we are many-branched and our mind is all over the place, it's very difficult to focus on the goal. And there is this beautiful analogy in the Mahabharata when Arjuna was supposed to shoot the eye of the bird, and Drona was asking everyone, "What do you see? What do you see?" I think you know already the story, but when Arjuna was asked, "What do you see?" he said, "I see the eye of the bird." "Do you see anything else?" "No, I see only the eye of the bird." "Okay, shoot." And then he was directly on the target. So this means actually to set our goal, in Krishna consciousness, set our goal. That means we need some focus, some attention. We need to do it in a conscious way to set our goals so that we can actually move toward the goal and reach the goal. The goal of prayojana is often connected to, or maybe I ask you, what is the goal? What is our ultimate goal of life?
Krishna Prema.
Krishna Prema, okay? And how, yes, that's good. That's what I wanted to say is actually every time that we hear about Krishna, that we hear about his pastime, we are actually hearing about his prema. We can hear actually about this love that Krishna exchanged with his devotees. In Gopal Champu, Jiva Goswami mentioned that if I hear about Krishna, it's nice, but somehow my heart is still not moved. But if I hear about Krishna and he is dealing with his devotees, then my heart becomes moved. And Keshava Maharaj was saying in lecture I was hearing recently that actually this means that we deeply meditate on the loving exchange between the Lord and his devotees. That means we here is a pastimes between the Lord and the devotees, and we try to feel how it must have felt for this particular devotee to be in that position directly next to the Lord. Keshini Sudan, maybe you can save a few of us who are severely attacked by tiredness by opening the window and giving some fresh air to our audience. Thank you. So this is actually very nice to see how when we hear about the relationship of the Lord and his devotees, there we hear about this prema. This prema is this relationship between the Lord and his devotees. So when we hear that, we should chew on it. We should meditate, we should contemplate, we should even become empathic. You know this word, to be empathic? That means let's say, for example, someone is coming to you and he is suffering. He has difficulty in his life. You are empathic because you try to feel what he feels. You don't immediately go and say, "Oh, do like this, do like that. I know all the answer from the Hare Krishna movement." No, you actually imbibe his feeling. You feel what he feels, and then from there you help him to find his own solution. So actually we heard it from Gauahari Prabhu in one Radhastami lecture in Italy. He was saying when we hear the pastimes of the Lord, we should hear this empathy. That means we try to feel what is the Lord feeling at this time? What is the devotee's feeling as the pastimes is taking place? So this is actually prayojana. There we connect directly in the loving exchange between the Lord and his devotees. And there is one particular pastime I would like to share with you that connects very much on this point. And that's the pastime of some very young Brijvasis. They were called Kumaris. They were very, very young, And it is said by Jiva Goswami that since ever they wanted to marry Krishna. Since ever they had the desire to marry Krishna. And as they were growing up, their desire to marry Krishna was becoming stronger and stronger, but they did not know how that would ever be possible. So they were a little bit depressed, they were a little bit morose, they did not know how to do it, to become the wives of Krishna. And then they met Purnamasi. And Purnamasi gave them a mantra and gave them a technique, a vrata, a vow that they should do to fulfill their goal. So they were actually very fixed. Their goal was, we want to marry Krishna. And when the Kumaris got the guidance from Purnamasi, their love for Krishna blossomed like flowers in spring. They became so happy. And then they started to follow this vrata, which was actually very severe. They were eating only khichdi for 1 month, without salt, without spices. They would go every morning, very early in the morning, in the Yamuna, and that's the time when this takes place is the winter, so it's actually very, very cold, and they will go and take their bath there in the Yamuna, and they will worship the deity of Katyayani. This place can still be seen, it's in Chirgat, it's called. It's quite remote from Vrindavan. I mean, there is also one small Chirgat in Vrindavan, but the real Chirgat is quite remote. We got amazing blessings with my wife to spend 1 full month of Kartik in this remote place of Chirgat. It was really, really a beautiful experience. But the point is that they were making a lot of austerities, but they were fixed in their goal. They knew what do they want. And their parents, they were saying, stop, stop that, stop, because they did not tell the parents what was the aim of their goal, of their vratas. And the parents, they were saying, oh, they even don't put oil on their bodies, and it's winter, their bodies are dry. Yes. But as more as the parents were discouraging the gopis, as more as this was fueling their eagerness. And in the morning, when it was still dark, they would call each other, they would take each other's hands, and they would walk toward the Yamuna. And when they were far from the village, they would sing songs about Krishna. And then they would go to the river, and they would take their bath, and slowly the sun will set, and the sun will feel compassion to those ladies who are trembling into the cold, so the sun will warm them with his rays, and they will make the deity of Katyayani, and they will do the worship of Katyayani. And they were very young, like 11, 12, 13 years old. They were very joyful and playful. They would joke with each other, but when the deity, the worship of Katyayani was there, they were single-minded. They were fixed into their worship of the Lord. And I feel this is like just so important that also in our Krishna consciousness, and especially in regard to our spiritual practice, when we are chanting our japa, when we are reading the scriptures, when we are offering food to the Lord, so often it is a ritual. So often we turn the bell, we say the mantra, but our mind is somewhere else, our heart is somewhere else. So this is actually very, very important that we are fixed on our goal as we do our spiritual practice. And Jiva Goswami mentioned in Gopal Champu that when those girls, they were going to the Yamuna, they would sing songs. And now it's very interesting which song they were singing. This is a goal-setting song. They were seeing their marriage with Krishna. And they were not singing, I will marry Krishna. They were singing, you will marry Krishna. So listen, I will now read a very secret text from Jiva Goswami in Gopal Champu of what the Kumaris were singing. Oh friend, Krishna will marry you. Nanda Maharaj will spread the joyful news everywhere. Your mother and father, imagine you are one of those small girls and you hear the song and you have the desire to marry Krishna. Your mother and father will distribute wealth to everyone. Clever Krishna will fuel your love with jokes and send through friends jokes that made you sublimely angry. Krishna, on the day of the marriage, Krishna will arrive at your home, riding on a brightly decorated bullock cart, dressed in his best finery. Oh friend, when you hear the sound of Krishna arriving outside the house, your heart will be agitated. And when he knocks on your door, won't you faint in bliss? I am certain you will. As you stand before Krishna, you will tremble in ecstasy. And as your father pours water to join your hands with Krishna's, no one but the Lord will know the great happiness in your heart. So when you will have your hand in Krishna's hand, and the priest will, or Nanda Maharaj will pour the water over the hand, the bliss, you will have such a bliss in your heart that no one will know it, just Krishna will know, who is just in front. So this is actually a very, very beautiful example of how those Kumarikas who were young girls, they were so focused on their goal, what they wanted to achieve, that they made song, they were singing. That's what will happen when you will marry Krishna. Beautiful, no? It's really... So now we go to the second part of the lecture, which is, what is my goal? Okay, we heard Prema Bhakti, love for Krishna. This is the main goal, but it sometimes can be defined or expressed in different way. Sometimes there is the ultimate goal, and there are like intermediate goals, like between goals before reaching the highest goal. And sometimes we make one great mistake to think that we will achieve something through bhakti. Maybe we can think, by doing bhakti, I will become a great devotee, or I will be very famous, or I will be respected by others. But we have to understand that bhakti is the goal in itself, and we do bhakti for bhakti, but never fall into the trap of doing bhakti for ulterior motives. I remember that once I was for a Kartik Vrata in Vrindavan, and every day I would go to Radhashyama Sundar to take darshan, and I was praying, please make me a great devotee. And after a few days, it became clear that it might be dangerous. I might be proud. I might misuse the becoming a great devotee. So then I changed and I say, my dear Lord, please allow me to please you. That was a much more reasonable prayer. So this is very important that we set our consciousness very nicely, because this desire, especially this desire for pratishta, this desire for being recognized, for being appreciated by others, to be a senior devotee, older devotee, or whatever, is very, very powerful. It's very, very, very deep. So it's very important that in our practice of bhakti, we are aware of that and never actually focus on that. And as more as we grow, as more as we become older, we are more and more prone to be called a senior devotee and to be offered respect and to never actually take it for oneself. Yesterday, our Gauahari Prabhu was very lovingly asking all the devotees to chant 3 times Maha Mantra for Gaurahari and Jayanti, who are so busy, they do so well, they came, and very nice, very kind. And but when the devotees were saying Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, I just was seeing the picture of my Guru Maharaj in my mind, meditating on my Guru Maharaj and just directing everything toward my Guru Maharaj. It's nothing to me, it's just for you, my Lord. So this is actually something that as we become older in Krishna consciousness, we have to be actually very careful that we don't have the wrong tuning in our consciousness. So we have the ultimate goal of Prema Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, and then we might have intermediate goals that we can set on the journey that are a little bit more palpable, that are a little bit more available, or more into closer to us than the ultimate goal of life. And what is helping us to get in contact to those intermediate goal or the ultimate goal? How do you do to be in touch with this goal, to not lose the goal? What do you do?
Always remembering the goal. Always remembering the goal.
Okay, remembering, trying to remember our goal. Yes, okay.
Write down your goal.
Write down your goal. Okay.
Keep in touch with the scriptures.
Aha, very nice. Very nice. That was the answer I was looking.
Discussing with the senior devotees about our goal with
Yes.
senior devotees.
Yes, yes. Actually, when you read the scriptures, you're all the time reminded. It's just all the time coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back. Prabhupada is just like hammering into it, and the scriptures in general. So when we read sufficiently in the scriptures, then we are actually much more in touch with what is our goal. And of course, when we discuss the scriptures with others, this also helps. And of course, like all what you said is good, setting the goals, and like this, we will touch a little bit on that later. But the reading of the scripture is just so elementary. And I see many of us are all right in chanting their 16 rounds. Yes, I have made this promise to my spiritual master. Yes, no matter what, I will chant my rounds. But how many are actually making the priority of 1 hour reading a day? It's actually much more difficult. But if we have it, if we do that, my God, our spiritual life is also on a different track, because we are reminded of the essence, we are reminded on the goal. Now, what goal setting are you doing into the morning program? Are we doing a goal setting during the Mangalarati program? Are we connecting with the goal?
Reading Krishna.
Okay,
Yes.
that's wonderful. That's already the goal. Here is my role. Very nice. Yes, Mataji? Tulsi Puja. In Tulsi Puja, we are setting the goals. I want to become a resident of Sri Vrindavan Dham. I want to see the Lord face to face. I want to be in my eternal identity and serve the Lord directly. We do it every day. But again, how unfortunate that most of the time is a ritual. We are just singing the words without knowing what we sing, without meditating what we sing. We are passing next to the most important goal setting of our day. So this is actually very, very much present in our scriptures, this goal setting, and we should actually be careful to not miss it. Otherwise, we, like Prabhupada was saying in the translation of the verse, this awareness of the goal is our greatest wealth. It's our biggest treasure. What we often forget also is that the aim of all what we are doing is to do it with love and devotion. We are doing so many services, we are doing so many things. I was speaking about doing offering, boga offering, so many things we do, and we are not actually connected to the real essence of bhakti. So that can be excellent goal. I will set ways that I can remember during my activities what is the essence of what I'm doing. I just read I back up my thoughts with one quote from Bhagavatam 5:19-13. That's the purport of Prabhupada. The only purpose of life is to be fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. So, okay, we can say ultimate goal of life is Prema Bhakti. Here, Prabhupada makes it a little bit closer to us. What does it mean, this Prema Bhakti? So Prabhupada said the only purpose of life is to be fully absorbed in thought of Krishna, his form, pastimes, activities and qualities. If one is able to think of Krishna in this way 24 hours a day, he is already liberated. Whereas materialistic people are absorbed in material thoughts and activities. Whereas materialists are absorbed in material thoughts and activities, devotees, on the contrary, are always absorbed in thought of Krishna and Krishna's activities. Shri Jai Gauranga, Jai. So Prabhupada writes, this is the goal for the devotees. We are all aspiring devotees. The goal is to become fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. We were listening these memories of Srila Prabhupada, and Mahatma Prabhu was Temple President. But when he was doing Temple President Seva, it was difficult for him to absorb in Krishna consciousness. But when he would go distribute books, he was much more Krishna conscious. So he asked Prabhupada a question. He said, is it better to do a lot of service and to be less Krishna conscious, or better to do less service and be more Krishna conscious? Because he was temple president, so he could write once a month. Every temple president had to write to Prabhupada for a report. So he wrote that at the same time with his report. And Prabhupada answered, no matter what you do, you have to be all the time absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And then Prabhupada said, when you manage the temple, you should feel you are unable to do so. And therefore, you have to all the time pray to the Lord, constantly pray to the Lord on how should I deal, how should I manage this temple. Then you will be Krishna conscious, and then you will be absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Very, very beautiful advice. So the last point for today, I don't want to stretch it too long, is how to set goal, how to do goal setting, and when do we remember the goal? One is as soon as we wake up, when we go to bed, before doing service, that we remember, okay, what is the proper attitude I should have now when I do this service? Why am I doing this service? How will I do this service? To tune a particular moment, and even it can be done all the time remembering the goal and thinking of what is my goal, praying for achieving the goal. I just want to put this point of goal setting, and which is very much connected to journaling, and that can be actually a very, very powerful tip. Some of you might do that every day you write a diary of how the day was. What were the gifts of Krishna today? Did I get any realization? Did I get any inspiration? Sometimes we get so many blessings and so many inspiration, but we just don't grasp them. They just go through, and we go through life and we do so many things, and you feel always empty-handed. But you got so many blessings and so many inspiration. So when you journal, you can actually keep track of all those gifts that you receive, and you can also do a goal setting, like for 1 week. Okay, this week I will make sure that I will speak to Krishna. I will pray with my heart. I will speak to Krishna like he is a person. Or this week I will, when I take darshan of the deities, I will memorize how they are dressed, and I will try to see them in my mind. Whatever you might like, I'm so lusty, or I'm so full of greed. This week, I will be very careful to eat only one time. I will not take extra on my plate. Things like this. So you observe where you are in your spiritual journey, and you set a goal that you will do during the week. And then every evening, as you write your diary, you review, how did I do today in fulfilling my goal of this week? And then you set the goal for tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow I will do it like this, and then you go to bed. And when you wake up, okay, this is how I want my spiritual life to be today. I will work on this and this and this. so on and so forth. So this, what I wanted to say, is very much part of our tradition, very, very much part of our tradition, and this is something actually that makes a huge difference in our practice to Krishna consciousness. So also in our japa chanting, it makes a lot of difference when we are actually aware of the goal. I end with a very, very small pastime of the Lord. We keep in the Prayojan realm, and that's a pastime that takes place in a small village which is close to Badrinath. There is Badrinath in Braj, believe it or not. This is even the Adi Badri, the original Badrinath is in Braj. Yes. And there is a village that is called Baya, or Bayari. Bayari, I think. And one day, the young gopis, they were there playing a game that is called Ko. I don't know if it is described that it's a game where there are 12 of them. They have to not be touched by 3 of the others. And the 3, they have to touch the others, and the 12 others, they should not get touched. So it makes quite some... I think we do play that sometimes just with one person, but they will play like 3 persons are touching, and so it must make like quite of a commotion and excitement. So the girls were playing this game go to this place, Bayari, which is quite far away from Vashana, the village where they would reside, and it was the winter. So what happened when children are playing, they often forget time. And the gopis also, they forgot the time, but because it was winter, very quick the night arrived. And very quick the girl thought, oh my God, it's dark, we have to go back to Vashana. So they started to walk on the path, but very soon it was totally dark. And the worst of it, it was a dark night without moon. So the gopis, they got scared in the middle of the jungle, alone. They started to panic and become overwhelmed with anxiety. But then they felt, let us sing the names. Let us sing the names of the Lord. So they started to do kirtan. And they were singing Krishna's name so much that they became enthusiastic. And then they forgot all their fears and they were just doing kirtan of Krishna's name. And Krishna got attracted by the chanting of his name. He said, what is this strange natural festival happening in the midst? So it's such a remote place of Vrindavan. I have to go there and check that out. So then he asked the gopis who are singing the names of Krishna. They saw Krishna appeared and they are very happy, very joyful, and they greeted him. But then they say, nice that you are here, Shyam, but we need your help. We are totally lost. We don't know how to go back into our home. And Krishna decided to make a little joke. Krishna said, yeah, I'm also lost. I also don't have any torchlight with me. I don't know how to go back. And the gopis, they started to laugh. And they say, we know that you are the source of the Brahman effulgence. We know that your eyes are the moon and the sun. So, and we know you are self-effulgence. So now please raise and bring out your effulgence and show the path. So Krishna smiled and illuminate the path for the girls, and they went back to Vashana safe. And in Kirtan, they did not stop to sing the pastimes. So the first village where they got lost is called Bayari, and the other village where they met with Krishna is called Kayarika, where they met with Krishna. And many villages like this in Braj have the names of the pastimes that took place in such villages. And one of our hobby with Vejanti is to go into those remote villages and learn about the pastimes that take place and walk in the land of Shirindala. So we stop here. Today's lecture was very much about the goal. I think I must have quoted almost 1,000 times the word goal. We were seeing the importance to be aware of the goal. There was the example of the arrow, to make the proper aim, to make effort and to let go, to to be detached, how it will go, how to get clear what is my goal, and setting the goal nicely, connecting with the ultimate goal in devotional service. Yeah, more or less, that was it. I don't know if any one of you has a question. If not, it is said that when there is no question at the lecture, it is either that the audience is self-realized, or either that your teaching is very bad. No one understood anything. Okay. Gauahari Prabhu.
Actually, very long back when we used to read Prabhupada books, and Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita is enough, Bhagavatam is enough. We don't have to read any other book. But as we grow older, we tend to go find different books and read something else, which is not Prabhupada. But after some time, you make a realization that Prabhupada, in his purports, every purport, he is irrespective of in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, oh, you have to do the karma kand. Prabhupada in his purport says, leave all this, just do pure bhakti. So Prabhupada was always trying. Now I understand that Prabhupada is so great, and I'm so lucky that I'm in the path of Prabhupada, that he is bringing me with my ear every time, stay in the line, don't go here and there. So if we read some other books, it is nice, but we will miss the purpose of goal, because Prabhupada is always in his purpose, in every purpose. Even like sometimes it says like Krishna is saying something, but Prabhupada is saying, don't do all this, just be here. So like contradicting, but he is putting us in the path. So now I feel more grateful to Prabhupada that he is putting me all the time, just focus here. So just kind request that, okay, if we have to read other books, then read 1 hour Prabhupada book and then read other books. Because sometime later, oh, I have read Bhagavad Gita 7 times, 10 times, then I can read something else. And we just divert our path, and after 1 year, our goal is not in the focus. So this is my experience, Rudy. Just want to share.
Okay, thank you.
Today you have motivated me to fix the goal in my situation.
Good. Thank you. So I would suggest we don't stretch it longer, because we are already starting at 10 o'clock with the last japa session, so that we have time to refresh and take our breakfast. Thank you for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Gauahari Prabhu ki jai. Venuti Mataji ki jai. So yes, we meet at 10 o'clock after breakfast, and we have